Welcome aboard everyone, Simon here from the Wells of Wall Street. This is episode 2 of The People's Crypto. Thank you very much for the support in the first episode. And because of that success of the pilot, we are certainly doing this as an ongoing feature. You'll be pleased to know, or maybe not pleased to know, if you think it's a waste of time. But hopefully you do enjoy it. And we get to look collectively at a number of assets that some I have no idea about, some you guys might not know about, and vice versa. In the other opposite section of I might know and you might not know, and vice versa on that as well. So hopefully everyone's learning something. I for sure am, and it's kind of a frustrating thing actually, because last week I always mention in some videos that my portfolio is quite big, not necessarily monetary value, but certainly the amount of assets, and I just find everything so interesting in this space. And doing a video last week opened my eyes up to some I already knew about in terms of their name and relative functionality, but things like MTV and a couple of others that we went through last week, I was sitting there going, wow, I need to add these into my portfolio at some point. So I've been looking for buy opportunities with some of those, and it's the same principle with this, doing some research in the last couple of days for this episode, and it's just staggering. And we'll go into a couple of the points here in a moment, but I don't want to take us too long as I did in the last one. I will put timestamps as always in this video in the description. So guys, let's crack on, and thank you again for those that contributed some ideas to the community page on YouTube. Make sure you look out for that. Usually around Tuesday, Wednesday each week, I will post an opportunity for people to put in the comments what they want covered. I don't tend to cover ones that we cover regularly, but I will make a mention of them in the videos anyway, just to confirm that and reevaluate what's going on with them. And as we go along as well, I will do individual introduction videos of certainly some of the key ones, especially things like MTV last week. Absolutely fantastic. I do want to get that done. Of course, we're time constraints with real work situations and things like that. So hopefully you can appreciate that we do our best. We do our best. So let's start first of all, guys, with the CELR network, CELR. Okay, so currently available via Binance, Bithumb, and Gate on various different pairings. Obviously, USDT, BUSD being some of the popular ones, but of course, if you hold a good chunk of BTC or in general, that might be a good pairing as well. And of course, BNB being the essential token of Binance, does have a reduction in fees on that aspect, depending on how many you purchase. So that covers where you can get the token from. Let's have a look quickly at exactly what entails through CELR network. So from what I've learned, and by the way, we just go kind of top level here. We don't go into full detail. We will do that in intro videos throughout the week for sure. So this is very much focused around like layer 2 scaling, which is very important in terms of the blockchain development, ensuring it can hold the capacities, or not just now, but in the future as well. So if you think of all like the transactions that are going to be occurring on blockchain through the various elements, like we talk here about Ethereum, Polkadot. Now Polkadot is obviously a lot newer than Ethereum, and you can see Ethereum's getting problems with like scalability and the transaction gas fees and things like this. And you always think like, what's going to happen with these kind of chains like Polkadot that have just started and they look so fantastic and so energy efficient and being able to hold this, that, and the other. But what happens in like maybe 5-10 years time, like with Ethereum, when there's so many people utilizing it? So these kind of scaling opportunities like CELR, and there's a multitude of other ones, of course, are really important to helping essentially create that kind of aspect of structure to ensure there's more transactions, more validations going through at a quicker speed and more efficient speed. And of course, it brings the cost down as well in that aspect. There's a multitude of different kind of projects and products that they have. We kind of covered the layer 2, but there's things, I think I found it here earlier. The C bridge is quite interesting. This is about interoperability with other chains. So where it mentions around here about Ethereum and Polkadot in general. Of course, this helps like deploy the digital assets hosted on one blockchain to dApps on another, conducts fast, low-cost transactions of tokens hosted on otherwise less scalable chains, basically. So there's a multitude of different things that this does throughout, not just its own platform, but for other chains as well. So while some blockchain bridges are centralized, others preserve like the all-important kind of decentralization that helps ensure the security and openness of DeFi protocols, or DeFi. I always say that wrong, don't I? So there's loads of really cool things that this does. They've also got this really cool thing here, the CELR's SDKs. So this is around sort of the development program, allowing people out, because it's kind of like open source as well in that aspect. Coders and developers can help not only increase and improve the CELR network, but they can also help in terms of building their own opportunities. So if you're a new project, whether it be a cryptocurrency or a blockchain or a game, whatever it is, it's kind of a bit like BPro actually. Bet Protocol, or used to be known as BPro, we cover quite a bit. That SDK platform and JavaScript in particular as well. I'm not actually sure if CELR uses JavaScript, but I'll have to look into that a bit more detail in the full research video. But of course that allows openness to encourage other projects externally to essentially develop their platform and the system. So it's kind of like one of my favorite parts, especially with gaming, as I think it's a sector that obviously I love and can see the opportunities here from that kind of application. So yeah, there's a great aspect of that as well. So it's very much around layer 2 scalability and also the opportunity for development, and fantastic partners here as well. Polkadot, obviously we just mentioned. Chainlink, fantastic. I always put dot and link in the same bracket. Anchor, of course, very popular, and Novos I'm not sure too much about. I think Wire is an exchange. Maker, obviously fantastic, and IOTX we cover a lot on this channel. Absolutely phenomenal project for the short term and the future. And as well, just mentioning that, when you think about IOTX, for example, on the AI algorithm aspect of smart grids and things, you need scalability. Because you imagine like anyone and everyone using blockchain, whether they like it or not, this is the way the world's going, right? So you wouldn't know that you're probably using blockchain as a general consumer or a general person in the public. But the technology in the background is being utilized in this way. And if you have a multitude of populations on these systems, you need the scalability. And I'm no doubt in my mind there'll be more and more layers in the near future which will be required to keep everything, up to date and focused on the improvements constantly. So that's a brief intro to CELR. I think it's really interesting. Like I said, we'll do a proper intro on this next week. We're building up some scheduled times in the studios that we can do this. Our actual studio is being built at the moment. From ground upwards. It's absolutely incredible. So hopefully you found this interesting. Let's quickly actually take a look as well at the chart. We'll do that in kind of an order here today. I think that would be helpful. So let's just take a quick look here at CELR. I've just put a quick few fib retracements on here. So we're currently trading as a recording around 14.5 cents. In terms of visibility of what I can see observation wise, of course, we're trying to get this support line here at 13.8 cents and trying to push for that 16.5. Now, we will do a full on analysis in the next video, but I just wanted to show you kind of where we've come in the short term and long term aspects as well. So let's just actually quickly, before we go on to ETN, just take this opportunity to see where we've gone from. So around this sort of 21st of July period at 2 cents, guys. 2 cents. We had a nice little run up there by the looks of it. 898% growth since then. We had a bit of a retracement, and this doesn't actually really follow the patterns of various other charts. This shows you how important scalability is. It's one of those projects, yes, of course, you get fluctuation in price in terms of investors, but I think the project itself shows absolutely phenomenal potential here. Would I be personally buying this right now? Of course, you could look at it at a long time and go, well, I kind of missed the boat at these opportunities, but it all depends on how high we go, of course, and the retracement we have in the bear market. But yeah, I still think there's gains to be had here for sure. And we'll have to do a proper video on this, as I said, in the coming weeks to really analyze where we might think this is going and see that kind of gain aspect. But let us know if you're holding this token in the comments below and what your anticipation of prices are for this. And we'll call those out in that CELR video for sure. But yeah, at the moment, currently in sort of a small little selling period in terms of the histogram here. But that's not to say that it's going to continue that way. I just think we've had some good profit taking over the last couple of days across multiple charts, so it's understandable. But it's looking really healthy, this one. I'm really excited to do the full video on this and really analyze this in full depth. 174% up on the month, 3,200% up year to date. That's phenomenal. And 6 months as well, up 96. And that includes months just tailing off from this correction that we had across the whole entire market. That's incredible, in my opinion. So fair play. It looks like this is a top token. We thank the person that called this out in the community. So yeah, looking forward to the next one, guys. But like I said, let us know in the comments below if you are holding this token or not. Really exciting. Let's jump back to the browser before we forget. So we're going next on to Electroneum ETN. Now this one I actually heard on Cheeky Crypto a few months back, and because that's so much of a portfolio gathering, I couldn't really add another one. But I'm actually, when you do your research, and this is something I always push, like do your own research, because I literally started researching this for this video, and I'm like sitting there again going, I need to add this back. Like the price point is quite good at the moment, so let's just cover that quickly. Qcoin, Huobi Global, Liquid are holding this token at the moment. I think there are a couple other ones. I'm not sure why CoinMarketCap's sometimes so slow to add the ones that are all of them, but maybe it's just about feedback from customers like you and me that need to keep pushing that. So tracking around that sort of 2.2 cents mark. We'll go into the chart in a second for sure on that one. But yeah, this project is fantastic as well. Let's jump into the browser on this one. Sorry, I've not actually started on the page I needed to. This is how much I've loved going through this and actually finding out about all the cool stuff that Electroneum offers. So cryptocurrency or tokenomics around a huge genuine usage via our real world ecosystem. So that's all well and good. So what this is about, well, there's actually over 3 million app downloads already on this from ETN, which is absolutely phenomenal. And there's multitude of things that you can use this app and transactions for. It's helping the unbankable. We always talk about this in some of the really key videos about what blockchain should be about. There's some scary things coming potentially, but there's also some amazing things in the sense that so many people out there who have businesses who you wouldn't see at the end, like for example the people that harvest rice or whatever, they don't maybe have banks, they don't get recognized for their work. This whole entire system of blockchain is helping that, and that's what ETN is about, helping the unbankable, creating instant payments, multitude of marketplaces available as well. You can see a few of them sort of scattered around on the app here. And I did actually, to be fair, before we go into a bit more detail, I'm looking at our own country here, obviously the UK, and there's a phenomenal amount already of marketplaces and local companies accepting ETN. So when you go to these places, you can use your app and with your ETN tokens to pay for services and opportunities and things like topping up mobiles, topping up energy. We do a lot of videos around the energy sector, of course, and how tokenomics will eventually take over the current sort of smart grid and energy systems. This is the kind of thing that will really interlace the payment aspect of that, in my opinion. So there's a multitude of partners that they've got everywhere. They've got a multitude of projects here. We'll do this fully in the full video, but any task or thought is interesting. This reminds me of like Fiverr and those kind of projects where you've got a load of freelancers that can basically offer their services, but they get rewarded in ETN. They get rewarded as well for the speed of which they provide the service and this, that, and the other. And you can also pay for it in that as well. So not just with the dollars, but ETN actually being accepted through this is a great project through the AnyTask platform that ETN or Electroneum have created. We've gone through this sort of thing, ETN everywhere. This is their kind of like slogan for that aspect. So being able to essentially through this website, you can actually find a merchant across the whole entire world if you want to. So more and more growing. I'm going to check this every week to see how many keep getting added, but it's absolutely phenomenal. This concept, and of course there are things like it in a centralized world, but I love the decentralization of this. The sharing of work, the sharing of nodes, the sharing of the workspace essentially, and thinking about smart contracts, know your customer, know your business. It's fantastic. Imagine you as a business just being able to literally use tokenomics and get things done on an algorithm, AI, and all this stuff. It's really going to take it to another levels for sure. So I'm looking forward to doing another video on this. Massive benefits, of course, as we mentioned, for people in general. I think this could be exceptionally good for enterprise as well as government and military. They do go into that detail actually across multiple projects. I mean, we can figure out here, for example, I think we've got, like we've just talked about, the mobile top-ups, local utilities, travel, accommodation, buying set. When everything's on blockchain, guys, and AI really kicks in, this is on about, like, if you had an appointment booked for you, for example, you would use the app, for example, here, and then everything would be done for you through tokenomics. Your taxi would be booked, or your train journey, whatever your preferences are. And because of AI algorithm and people learning, it will know your behavior already and just do everything for you. And all the ETN will do in the background is make that transaction happen through tokenomics, through blockchain, the whole smart contract, the chain mechanism itself. It's phenomenal, guys. And I see the potential. And this is why I was like, I wish I paid attention more to like Cheeky Crypto and other videos that I watched on it to actually realize what it was about. And I was just like, I'd switched off it from immediately because I was like, I've got too many. I can't add another one. But, you know, as I said, opening this kind of thing up to you guys has really made me realize the opportunity that is here for this project. I mean, of course, there's other ones as well available in the spectrum of this space. But you need more than one for all the systems to work together, work off each other, interlace, interoperability, all that kind of really good stuff, of course, you know, to think about. So let's guys definitely do a video on this. We'll drop that in the next few days. But I'm really excited about this project, and there's so much to it. You know, obviously, we want to try and keep this as short as possible. Just introduce the project over a top line, and really hammer home some of the key features that this is doing. And you can clearly see the amount of effort, not just in the website, but what they're offering. Refer and earn scheme, like any tasks, holidays, transportation, military, it's all incredible, guys. And it's going to help local communities as well. You know, I go to a lot of local shops and they still take cash, and I don't have cash. But this sort of thing, if more companies and everything introduce themselves to blockchain, it will become incredibly fantastic ecosystem. And that's exactly what these guys are trying to build. And the app, I need to download the app, and we'll cover that in the next video as well. And we'll try and maybe book something or buy something using ETN as well, show you how easy it is. And we might even do a physical one. We might go to a local shop near to me and try this out, see what it's about. So looking forward to that. Let us know if you're holding ETN in the comments below. Let's jump into the chart before we go into the next project. So ETN, oh, by the way, of course, smash the like button if you're finding it interesting. And do hit that subscribe button if you have not done so already. So let's go into ETN. So we have here just very basic information at the moment. So we've had an increase of 412% from this point here around the 15th of July. It's very interesting because every other chart is sort of 21st, 20th of July with the big drop, but this sort of entailed some big announcements in that period of time. So it's just caught up. We actually do have, to be fair, quite a nice trend line there going on. And we're not quite at the highs of the previous all-time high, which sat here around 4 cents. So there is room for growth still from its current point, which is 2.2 cents. And performance-wise, 3% up on the week, monthly 60% up, 360% up in the year as well. 6 months it's down slightly, but that does entail the drop we had in the multitude of markets through that sort of May to July period. But what can we see here? We are trying to obtain a support level here around 2.3 cents, trying to attack the 2.5 or 2.5 to 2.6 cents. So it's going up in a nice little upward trend here at the moment. We will cover this properly in the next video, but I just wanted to sort of pick out a few key points here. The MACD is still in a bearish momentum, so there's not quite a full switch over going yet. We're still in a sort of stabilizing period, and that's why I think it looks like we're trying to achieve this as a support area before we can start attacking that 2.5, 2.6 cent mark and try and get some levels up here before we start attacking that all-time high. And of course, the selling volume hasn't quite finished yet on this histogram down here. So it could actually be, to be fair, guys, and it's not financial advice, it could be an opportunity to get some. And I know we've obviously missed these opportunities around here, but you know, chances always come for growth, right? And I think you see the nice little patterns here. It does indicate to me that actually you might get this kind of like J shape at the moment, possibly. So it might be a good opportunity to bag some and get some gains that we possibly can in this upcoming bull run for the next few months. So let's see how that goes. And like I said, we'll do a proper analysis on this with some buy opportunities, some sell opportunities, and we'll also cover a bit more of the full-on analysis of this project. But like I said, let us know if you're holding ETN in your portfolio, and are you using the app? Have you bought anything? Have you used any of the services like utility or anything like that? I'm really interested to know real world mechanisms behind this, of course. So yeah, that wraps up ETN. Let's jump straight into the browser again, and we will now cover the next project, which is HAPI. I'm not going to sing it. Currently available: Gate, KuCoin, Uniswap, Ascendex, PancakeSwap, 1inch. I would like to see a few more mainstream exchanges holding this, but the prices, I don't really focus on price, whether it being cheap or expensive. It looks expensive in the sense that you can't buy as many for it, but don't look at it that way. Look at it as the gain opportunities and things like that. people too sometimes too focused on price. This is all about the project and what it's about and what you're investing in. So HAPI is very much around the cybersecurity element. Their website is very interesting. It's not like concrete as many of the other projects are, but I kind of like that. It's to the point, and it's very much, I do think maybe, just maybe, if you're trying to emphasize this to enterprise and industrial and things like this, you might want to, maybe they might want to look slightly different approach. But I think this works at the moment. And so, yeah, it's very much around the cybersecurity protocol. So using smart contract technology and their Oracle DEX platforms, so decentralized exchanges like Uniswap and SushiSwap, they'll basically be able to identify suspicious wallet addresses and reject any transaction request to prevent money laundering. So that's one of the key aspects on there, which you can see on the browser. We've kind of reformatted how we would talk about that. But yeah, it's all around helping exchanges, helping blockchains really secure that security aspect, and from you as an end user as well, ensuring things like you don't put the wrong addresses in, or fake addresses, or people who have used like fraudulent addresses. I think this is a really good mechanism. So forget what the website looks like, forget how they present themselves. It's what it does. Okay, and I'm sure that these guys have got a fantastic sales team that are going out there right now to really develop the solution process and get people involved in why do you need HAPI. And I really think it's fantastic. The Oracle space I will look into more in the next video, but from what I've been reading, and I love this machine learning part, by the way. I think machine learning is very important to understand, and we do cover that a lot in our AI IoT videos, because it's going to be what kind of helps us through a next algorithm of everything and everything that we do. So think about your transactions, or the way you go about your business, or being able to buy and sell data as you please, as provided, of course, it's been authorized. Machine-to-machine learning will start doing things on your behalf. So it's very important when HAPI interlaces with that when you give over your trust to machine or AI, it's important that these kind of infrastructures are in place so that you can continue your working lifestyle, your lifestyle in general, and all these things are being done on your behalf in the near future. That there is a big backing like HAPI. I mean, there's others out there as well, of course, but HAPI Protocol is one of the top ones for sure from what I've been reading, and particularly around sort of the ledger aspects as well. It's certainly one of the top ones, and I think this is a really critical point, and not just for us as end users, but obviously for companies, banks, institutions, all of these things. This is what is required. Cybersecurity is a big major topic at the moment. Security in general. A lot of people don't even buy products now because of like the general features. They just want to know about security, privacy, data, who's controlling. And blockchain, of course, allows you as a person to hold that data and own it. And if you want to sell your data, you can. Not like there's big things going on at the moment with smartphone brands and this, that, and the other, accumulating your data and selling it without you even knowing. And arguably you sign up to half of it in the terms and conditions that obviously no one reads. Who's going to sit there and read like hundreds of, they know for a fact that no one reads those. And then you go, I didn't accept this. Well, actually you did, because you pressed it and you installed the update, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, going off topic, but this is going to help a lot with ourselves and institutional level as well. So I'm really looking forward to opening this project up more and more in the near future. Certainly maybe next week, hopefully we'll be able to do one for you guys. I haven't done too much to the chart at the moment. I had run out of time this morning to really fulfill the charts, but we can certainly look at some of the basic elements of this for sure. So let's just take a quick look at HAPI on the chart. We're using KuCoin data here at the moment. So let's just quickly see where we are. So currently we have had a retracement day to $62, and we're already back up to this 69. So that's quite a lot of money in and out per day by the looks of it. It looks like there's a lot of volatility here in that sense. So there's almost a very good short-term opportunities within 24, 48-hour periods by the looks of it across the board here. And if you imagine buying here at 62 and already making this nice little jump up. I mean, it's not gigantic, but if you've got a fair amount of them, I mean, to gain that much quite quickly is quite a lot, but it looks repetitive. I know this is quite a common thing to see, but I don't think I've seen too many things that repetitive, which is quite interesting. So it's clearly obviously still a growing project. The $69 is obviously quite hefty compared to a lot of others in this space and protocols, etc. But like I said, look away from that. It's obviously in a very bullish momentum at the moment because the MACD here. The selling volume is kicking in as well. So we've got a bit of a pale green going here on the histogram, and the RSI is relatively high, not massively high. There's still a bit of space for movement. This, in my opinion, is looking like it's making a move upwards before a bit of a correction, possibly. Maybe similar to like we've seen here. So in the next video, hopefully we'll do it in time. We will trace that movement, what we see in the next few days, because it does look like it's making this similar pattern, and see where we've got some buy opportunities. Because for me personally, I wouldn't be buying right now. It's a bit too risky. I mean, there is obviously room for movement upwards, but we'll cover that in the next video. We won't go into too much detail, but we've obviously seen quite a bit of traction. This data doesn't go back too far, to be fair. Let me see if I can find another one here that might be more helpful to us in the long run. So forgive me for going a bit off radar. Oh, it's not too big either. I think because we launched not too far away. Oh, do you know what? I remember as well at launching, and it was being shilled by anyone and everyone. And fair play, because the launch was quite successful. What on earth happened there? What on earth? That must be a glitch, surely. 157. We'll have to check that. That is pretty awesome if that's the case. So yeah, we'll cover all that in the next video as well. Very interested to know what on earth happened in that day. Goodness me. Was that repeated in the KuCoin data? I'll have to have a quick look actually. When was that? I'm not quite sure. I'll have to have a look. Maybe it was that day there, was it? Very interesting. We'll check that out, guys. But yeah, HAPI looks like a really cool project, certainly through cybersecurity. Very, very important aspect of protocol, and making sure that it helps you as an investor, whether it be retail or institution, that you're not making any mistakes or being a victim of potential fraud or manipulation. So really important protocol for sure. I'm looking forward to covering that one. So let's go back to the browser and let's move on to the next one here. This is actually, I think, the last one. We will cover a couple at the end because we do videos on those two regularly, but I just want to emphasize them because people did put them in the community. I do want to mention them. And hopefully you guys can continue to follow us for all those updates as well. Constellation DAG chains for me, I feel are the great next things to be investing in. I think this is like taking blockchain to another level. We'll go into that in a bit more detail in another video when we complete the DAG conversation. I am invested in something called like Ubix, which is quite similar, but this one, Constellation, is very, very powerful. And I'm looking forward to doing a full video on this, but we will cover a couple of things right now. So currently available on KuCoin, HitBTC and LCX Exchange. LCX Exchange, by the way, is becoming very popular. So KuCoin and all of these others. So USD, we're just pulling out here. The price is around 21.8 cents as we're recording. So that's where you can find the Constellation or DAG token on the exchange. Let's take a quick look at this. So absolutely phenomenal project in my opinion. And before we go into the token, let's just quickly have a look at the first home page of Constellation. What I find interesting with DAG, so DAG, I think if I can remember or certainly find something to explain that, it's basically directed acrylic graph. So instead of like a linear aspect of a blockchain moving in a vertical perspective, directed acrylic graph utilizes almost kind of like a peer-to-peer system where it can kind of overshadow certain sections of a chain and keep the scalability going, keep the transactions flowing. We'll certainly go into more detail of that in a big DAG video, but essentially kind of like using a proof of reputable observation. That I think they call it PRO. So if you ever see keywords like PRO, that's what that stands for. And the hypergraph is basically like a feeless decentralized network that supports the transfer of, in this case, the DAG token cryptocurrency. So there's a lot of node aspects to reward validation and governance, as you would expect with that kind of proof of, I wouldn't call it proof of work because that's separate, but you know what I mean. It's like a proof of system. So validating the data schemas, the data sources, allowing other projects as well as their own to mint their own cryptocurrencies, attach business logic and metrics as well. So if you can imagine like the chain mechanism operating so many transactions, so many activities, I think, I can't remember where I read it on here, but I did take notes. So 2.5 quintillion bytes. I don't even know what quintillion is. I have to look that up. That's mental. 2.5 quintillion bytes of data are created every single day. The network of Constellation is built to accommodate the emerging needs of the ever-growing big data industry. Speed and scalability are inherent in a horizontally scalable design where speed increases with network size. So it's taking that principle of this nice like mechanism. Think of it actually, to be fair, like this. When you look at a city or something from above, you see all this kind of like network of roads and things. It's kind of like interlacing all these different channels and opportunities. Here we go. So being able to sort of go around the traditional architecture of blockchain and putting this directed acrylic graph in to get to things quicker, to support transactions, to support motion quicker and more efficiently, of course, reducing the cost as well. So there's a multitude of things that Constellation brings to the table here, and the DAG token, which we'll go into in a second, but of course, utilizing things around enterprise as well. So they're working already, guys, with these big kind of companies. Do you know what I mean? Artificial intelligence, machine learning. This is another project I now have to invest in. I wasn't going to say what I was going to say. It's another project I have to invest in because I love AI projects. I love machine learning projects. This is the future as well as the now, but certainly the future. And these kind of technologies, that's why I said DAG. I think DAG is like the thing that's going to literally allow the capacity of being able to contribute a mechanism for not just the machine learning, but the whole entire ecosystem of how we operate as human beings in our environment, in the ecosystem of finance, purchasing, transportation, energy, you name it, it's all within these kind of applications. So really interesting to see how this all works. I always thought, as I've mentioned in relative videos like IOTA and ITX and things like this, when I was younger, I always knew about smart grid and 5G maybe 10 or so years ago when I used to go to some energy events for uni and stuff. And I was sort of sitting there going, okay, 5G, I understand that, that's the connectivity thing, but how's it all going to work? And then finally, blockchain came to my mind a couple of years ago when through research and investment, I got really excited because I was being able to link together what I already knew in the smart grid and 5G and AI systems and my working environment to how it would work, how the grid would work, the DAG ledgers, the blockchain essentially as well, LiDAR data. LiDAR is a phenomenal sector, guys. This sector is going to absolutely explode. I'm telling you now. And it's not just for cars and things. It's for military, government, anything and everything pretty much. I will have to speak to one of my friends actually about this because he works for a LiDAR company and I'm actually going to send this to him and see what he thinks. Maybe I'll get him on the show as well to try and explain when we go through this Constellation project what this kind of thing would actually mean to the general public. So I'm really excited about this project in general, just from that aspect. But as I said with DAG, I'll tell you what, actually, they're bringing this thing called DAGpreneurships. So allowing people to take their data and own it. And like we just mentioned in the previous section for HAPI, is you as a person will hold your data and be able to buy or sell your data as and when you please, and if and when you need to. Here we go. Datapreneurship for initial individual and corporate users who can securely and compliantly monetize their data. So why on earth should companies be allowed in this ridiculous centralized system that we live in right now? Why on earth should they be allowed to take your data, irrespective of whether you've accidentally accepted it or not through updates and things on smartphones and this, that, and the other? How dare they have the audacity to take our data and sell it to other companies without our knowledge? Irrespective of whether you signed up to it, you should at least have a module there to tell you so-and-so has used your data for this, so-and-so. And I know a lot of the credit scoring systems do that, but you should have the power. And that's why I love blockchain, it's why I love decentralization, in the sense that you should have the power for anything and everything that you do. Energy tokenization, finance tokenization, buying and selling however you want to, within regulation, of course. But I'm sick and tired of these companies for the last 100 years. And I'm sure you guys are as well. So these kind of infrastructures like DAG, and the projects like Constellation, HAPI, and all these things they're doing are, yes, of course, there's a bad anything and everything in the world. You always have a bad side to things and a good side to things, and this is a good side in my opinion. Really giving the power back to the people, so that I can not only see through transactional data of blockchain via smart contracts and know your customer and all this thing of where my data is going. I can also come up to these companies and go, excuse me, what are you doing with that? But they can also not get it anyway in the first place because I haven't authorized it. This is a kind of project, and not just that as a manual aspect for a smartphone, but being able to do that on an automated platform as well. So like when we go back to the machine learning of knowing what you as a behavior, as a person do, and doing things on your behalf, it knows to interlace with these things of what should and shouldn't be done. Trust is a big thing in this space, guys. Let's take a quick look at the chart before we wrap this video up and do our last mentions as well on the People's Crypto episode 2 here. So let's take a look. We'll just get this chart up and running. Here we go. Look at that again. Another reminder, please do subscribe if you've not done so already, and smash that alarm bell as well if you want to be notified of all the awesome videos coming your way. Right now, currently the price is around 20.6 cents. So we had a bit of a retracement here. Take this top level, for example, around about the 26th of August, we got a high of 46 cents. So we pretty much retraced 50% there. And that's quite a good retracement. I do always say that we can sometimes go between 30 and 70%. So do keep an eye on potential buy opportunities. We'll do a video as soon as possible for this project. And we will put in some potential buy opportunities if we're done it in good time. If we haven't, we'll do some certainly selling opportunities as well as buy opportunities in the next wave before, as we continue this big bull run. Look at this mark down here. So we always take these kind of reference points here. 21st of June, 21st July actually was, to be fair, where most of the market dropped. So this is quite interesting. It's obviously a relatively not necessarily a brand new project, but it's certainly one that's finally got traction and perhaps adoption. But even from this point here, we'll take it from here because this is what we do with most of our other charts. We'll keep it consistent. That is a phenomenal growth pattern, 327%. Let's just quickly, while we got some time, take from this level here as well. Absolutely phenomenal growth there. And fair play to those that were investing down at these levels around 2-3 cents. To be sat here at 20 cents now and even higher previously is quite phenomenal. So imagine that gain there, 1,112% gains. You don't get banks offering that in savings, I can assure you that. So well done to those that have. Is it a good time to be buying? We'll definitely cover that in the full-on video. But I would not be angry at buying some of this right now, to be honest, to try and obtain some growth in the coming months. And this is one of those projects, I do question whether it will even go into a bear market fully. I'm sure there'll be corrections across the board anyway in general. But I think that some projects will go against that because of the adoption, because of blockchain technology. Like all these technologies and adoptions aren't going anywhere. If anything, they're being enhanced. So that by Agenda 30's program, we need to be completed by 2030 for majority of this stuff anyway. If you don't know what that is, go and check out some of our previous videos where we talk about that quite a lot. But yeah, very much the MACD is in a bearish momentum. It's probably not finished yet. Do you know what? I'm going to very quickly shove this in. I just really want to see this now at some potential buy opportunities because I'm not sure when I'll be able to get the video complete. But certainly, maybe around this area of 18 cents is a good opportunity to take some opportunities to accumulate. Or if you haven't got into project yet, like me, I'm going to look at this area. So I'm going to probably do that on my Qcoin after this video. I think that's a good opportunity, even right now. I think, in terms of looking back at this chart in maybe a month or two's time, this will look like a really good opportunity to purchase, as well as, of course, in the bear markets if there are any to obtain some as well. Performance-wise, 28% down on the week, 32% down on the month. So it is in a bit of a bearish trend here, and I don't think it's fully over possibly. But I wouldn't be angry. I think you're limiting the risk, not financial advice, but opinion, limiting the risk if you are buying here. Obviously, if you bought around these areas, not too much of a good idea. 2,500% up on the year to date, guys. This project is phenomenal. I'm looking forward to dragging it out into a main video shortly. So guys, that wraps up Constellation or DAG on the exchange. So that's DAG. Really, really cool. Guys, thank you so much for your contributions to ideas. It has opened my eyes up even more to this awesome space that we're in and this investment opportunity for both short-term and long-term opportunities. I'm super excited to actually add some of these bags and do the main videos. Really excited. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Let's just quickly look at some others that I've mentioned. We don't go into massive detail because we have covered these projects. XDC, Zimfin, go and check our intro video to this. I'll leave a link at the end of this one, including a link to episode 1 last week as well. But Zimfin is absolutely phenomenal, hybrid blockchain. These guys are linked via an R3 Corda blockchain system. Honestly, the partnerships, what they're doing, who they're founded by, once you see these intro videos that we've done, not necessarily just ours, but others as well, of course, there's other channels that cover this project fantastically well. These guys honestly are going to be taking over the financial world, in my opinion. XRP, Ripple, XLM have their own kind of ways of doing things, but these guys, I'm not even joking, are so far ahead and so under the radar. It's unbelievable. So go and check those videos out. And Veracity, one of our other favorite ones, have fantastic staking opportunities via the Vera wallet. We do cover that in another video as well. 25.5% APY at the moment. Phenomenal. That does change in March. Keep an eye out for that, whether they cancel it completely or just reduce that. It has reduced previously as well, so get on that. Veracity is very much around the proof of view mechanism. A multitude of millions and billions of dollars are lost through the loss essentially of fake views, bots, fake advertising and things like this. So smart contracts, of course, blockchain technology enabling companies as well as people on a streaming basis to not miss out on the opportunity to increase their revenues and avoid that mechanism. And they're also doing a big patent on both that as well as a massive patent on as well the NFTs. So making sure that you guys obtain NFTs in a suitable non-fraudulent way and making sure that you are confidently buying what it says you are buying. So really big mechanism, massive partnerships here with all the big streamers, all big media players already at the moment, and it will continue to increase its adoption, and the price I believe will be very good. So go and check out intro videos for those as well as the recent updates on charts on XDC and VRA as well. Guys, we're going to wrap this video up. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's actually less time than the last one, so I'm really pleased with it. I think we actually did one less perhaps project than the last one, but guys, get involved in next week's one. Keep an eye out on the community section of YouTube on our platform channel to get your ideas and thoughts, what you want covered in the next one. And we will do big intro videos for each one of them as and when we can for those as well. Thank you for being a great audience, guys. Hope you found it informative. And we will see you and all these awesome crypto assets, hopefully, on the moon. Take care and bye-bye.